Hi everyone and welcome back to Bonnie Astrology. Today we're looking at the horoscopes for December 2023, what this month has in store for your zodiac sign. As always, if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up to let me know you like it. You can subscribe to the channel for regular astrology updates. If you want to follow me on any of my socials, they're linked in the description. And if you want to book a 2024 astrology reading with me, the information is also listed in the description. Please be aware, as always, that there are scammers that operate both in the comment section of YouTube and on Instagram, pretending to be different astrologers, soliciting readings, and just know that I'm never going to slide into your DMs and offer you any kind of astrological or tarot service. It's just not me, so be cautious online. This month has the dreaded Mercury retrograde. Mercury is going to be retrograding in the sign of Capricorn, but re-entering Sagittarius, which is kickstarting a series of Mercury retrogrades for 2024 in the fire signs. This Mercury retrograde is going to occur on the 13th of December, but Mercury will have been in shadow since the 25th of November and will go direct on January 1st, 2024. We also have a new moon in Sagittarius conjunct Mars and a full moon in Cancer, forming a pleasant sextile to Jupiter in Taurus. Both Neptune and Jupiter are going direct this month, and Jupiter is going direct, triggering the October 28th eclipse. So if you thought eclipse season was over, there might be a development still in store for you yet. So let's get into what this means for each of the zodiac signs. Timestamps are listed below. As always, I do suggest you watch your rising sign for the most accurate results. You can also watch your sun sign and moon sign as well. Particularly for the lunations, I do sometimes notice that the moon plays out very much linked to your own moon sign in some cases too, so just pay attention to that for a little bit of extra analysis. But as I say, timestamps are listed below. I hope you have a wonderful December, and whatever you're celebrating, I wish you a very happy holiday. Hi Sagittarius, welcome to December 2023 and a very happy birthday to all the Sagittarians that are celebrating their birthday in December. I hope you have a very blessed solar return. So Sagittarius, there's a few things going on this month that concern you because it is your season. And the main thing that I want to talk about is the fact that we have a new moon in your sign on the 12th of December. So if you're a Sagittarius rising in particular, but this does apply to all of you, if you're Sagittarius rising 19, 20, 21 degrees of Sagittarius, your ascendant sign, this is likely to impact you most directly, but it will impact you all in its own way. It is a new beginning for you. So for a lot of you, this is a new personal beginning. This could be a new goal of yours. This could be a new way of presenting yourself, styling yourself, showing up to the world differently. This is a new chapter. And for you, it's looking like it's a new chapter you're very passionate about. It's conjunct Mars, and Mars rules your 5th house of passion, creativity, pleasure. So this is something that's going to bring you joy, something that's going to bring you pleasure, something you feel very energized by, very inspired to do. It's going to take courage, it's going to take bravery, but it's going to be a lot of fun for you to try or to begin something. This could be for some of you a pregnancy because the 1st house is your physical body and Mars rules your 5th house of children. For others of you, this could be a fitness goal because Mars is related to sports and fitness. You could be beginning a martial art, you could be taking up membership in the gym. And you might actually, if you're changing your style, be buying more red, wearing red nail polish, red lipstick, dyeing your hair red or something like that because Mars is associated with the color red. There is a square to Neptune, meaning that your family or your roommates may be a little confused by your new beginning, or your new beginning might bring a little bit of fogginess or confusion when it comes to your living situation. Your ruler Jupiter is going to go direct this month, although not until the very end of the month in Taurus. And for you, Sagittarius, that is your 6th house of work, service, and your health. So if there was anything specific or significant happening for you around the 28th of October pertaining to these areas for you, this is likely to be some kind of development in that area. Or if nothing was going on for you, this might be the time where it starts to make sense. Perhaps it is that you were reflecting on your work, you were reflecting on the services you provide, you were reflecting on your physical health and well-being, and Jupiter going direct on the 30th is going to be a time when perhaps you're starting to figure out what it is that you want to do, you need to do, because Jupiter is your ruler. So perhaps you're going to be taking direct action towards something in terms of health, in terms of well-being, in terms of work, and in terms of service. For you, Sagittarius. Now, Neptune is also going direct in your sector of home family And this can mean that you start to see things a little bit more rose tinted. Perhaps you were reevaluating. I mean, Saturn is there as well in Pisces in your 4th house. So you might be getting more serious about home and family. For some of you, that's starting a family, committing more to your family. Perhaps you are purchasing an expensive house, or you're renovating a property that's taking a lot of discipline, a lot of restriction to your finances, or your money's tied up in it too because Saturn rules your 2nd house. But with Neptune going direct, you might start to feel a bit more hopeful, a little bit more loving, and a little bit more idealistic when it comes to home, family, and property matters, Sagittarius, because Neptune tends to bring a dreamy energy when it's direct. You can also lead a little bit more with your intuition when it comes to home, family, property matters as well, or use your imagination when you're redecorating or changing your living situation, or maybe being a bit more imaginative about where you want to live. The other thing that's happening for you this month that's very important, Sagittarius, is that Mercury is going to go retrograde in your 2nd house on the 13th, but on the 23rd, it will retrograde back into your sign. Now, one of the themes with Mercury retrograde this time is that when it's in Sagittarius, when it's in your sign, it is going to be forming squares with Neptune as part of the ongoing conversation. So the first time this happened was around the 26th, 27th of November, depending on where you are. So think about any conversations or communications coming up that time for you, Sagittarius, that may have been relating to property, home, family, and yourself, because these may be themes that repeat, they may be themes that need reevaluation, and they may be something that is going to be a period of reflection and reconsideration for you when it comes to perhaps communicating with a family member, communicating about a property. Things may be a bit back and forth. You might have to do a wee bit of reinvestigating, reconversing, going over old ground before the issue is resolved. The good news about this Mercury retrograde is that when Mercury is in your 2nd house of Capricorn, it's going to trine your ruler Jupiter in the 6th. So there's potential, Capricorn, that you may end up coming out of this retrograde with a bit more money. You might be better compensated for the work that you're doing, the services that you're providing. Could be a little bit of back and forth on it, or negotiation back and forth on it, but it feels like your money might improve going into the new year based on the work and services that you've been providing, Capricorn. I mean Sagittarius. Sorry. It's because Mercury's going from Capricorn into Sagittarius. Didn't mean to call you that. Your ruler Jupiter going direct on the 30th is going to trigger the eclipse at the end of October 2023. So around the 28th of October, the lunar eclipse in Taurus was at 5 degrees, and Jupiter is now going direct at 5 degrees of Taurus. So Jupiter's going to station there, meaning that this degree is very highly impacted. And this triggers that eclipse. So the reconsideration, perhaps, as your ruler Jupiter was conjunct the eclipse, but in retrograde, the reconsideration, the reevaluation, the rethinking that you've been doing in terms of perhaps your work, and perhaps your health, perhaps your body, your physical well-being, that reevaluation, it's now time to move forward with that. It's now time to take direct action. It's now time to know where that's going. If there were no changes that were triggered by that eclipse, it may be that they are triggered around the 30th of December. This might be a time when you realize that the eclipse story is actually playing out, even if it has been quite subtle until this point. But it feels as though this may bring you more abundance, Sagittarius, when it comes to your health, when it comes to your wellness, when it comes to the work that you do and the services that you provide. You may be expanding in your workplace, in your work life. You may be expanding with your job, with your colleagues, your co-workers, or your employees, and you may be enjoying the benefit of these people or this place of, this in your area of work. You may be enjoying more benefits there, and you may be enjoying the benefits of better health too, Sagittarius. Mars is in your sign all month, and of course it is going to come into a square with Neptune in your 4th house. So there is a bit of tension this month, Sagittarius, between your action, your ambition, your personal wants, needs, and desires, and perhaps your family, your roommates, your living situation. There might be a bit of misalignment, and it feels as though perhaps these people or issues surrounding property and home, it can be a bit evasive this month. It can be a bit confusing for you. But one of the nice things that's happening in terms of your home and family is that Venus in Scorpio is actually going to trine Neptune in your family sector. So Venus is going to be in your 12th house, meaning that perhaps romantically speaking, from around the 4th when Venus enters, you're maybe going to want to be keeping matters low key. You're maybe going to want to keep your relationships private, your love life private. But there might be a case where some healing that you've been doing, possibly with a female because it's Venus, but also maybe just in terms of self-love, self-acceptance, healing inner work with Venus in the 12th, trining Neptune in the 4th, you might be able to let something go that helps you heal a wound or a bit of confusion or a bit of fogginess with family or with a living situation. There could actually be help comes out of an unexpected source that you didn't see coming, something that maybe blindsides you but in a good way, and that's on the 25th of December around Christmas. So that could actually be incredibly positive for you, Sagittarius. The Sun is going to trine your ruler on the 27th, the Sun in your 2nd house, trining Jupiter in your 6th, adding again to this potential for increasing your finances through the work and the services that you have been providing. There is the Mercury-Mars conjunction on the 27th in your sign at 24 degrees, and it is going to be in a square with Neptune, so be careful of your communication, what you're saying. Less said, soonest mended. You might be more direct, blunt, you might have some harsh words, and this could lead to some misunderstanding or miscommunication. You might mean something very honestly, very earnestly, and very directly and truthfully, but it could be perceived differently. It muddies the waters a little bit with your conversation, but it also means that if you're really determined to take a bold action around this time, it might confuse other people, or you might find the actions of other people a little bit confusing too, Sagittarius. Venus is going to enter your sign on the 29th, which makes you the belle of the ball. It means you look your best, you may very well feel your best, and you may very well feel like you're getting more attention, you have more admirers as well, Sagittarius. There's a full moon in Cancer on the 26th or 27th, depending on where you are in the world. And for you, Sagittarius, the full moon in Cancer is a time where you're maybe feeling a little bit... You may feel a little bit like you're getting some clarity on an issue that has perhaps plagued you for a long time. The 8th house is a place of crises, and it's a place of psychological matter. And so you might be getting to the bottom of something, because this is going to sextile your ruler. So you might actually feel like you're getting to the bottom of something that's maybe plagued you for a long time. It's trine Saturn. So if you've been doing any kind of inner work or therapy or healing or shadow work, you may get some clarity on an issue. This might also bring up perhaps a financial matter with a partner, with a partner's money, with government spending, with other people's money. You may get some sort of financial benefit, some sort of loan, some sort of mortgage, because it is going to be sextiling your ruler. So this is going to benefit you directly, Sagittarius, and you may be benefiting through something that is a joint financial venture or shared resource. That's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope you have a beautiful month, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Capricorn, welcome to your December horoscope, and a very happy birthday to all the Capricorns celebrating this month. I hope you have a very blessed solar return. So Capricorn, let's have a little look at your month. The main thing that I want to talk about for you, Capricorn, is that Mercury is going to go retrograde in your sign. So Mercury enters your sign on the 1st of December, right off the bat. And it is going to retrograde from the 13th and then re-enter Sagittarius, your 12th house, on the 23rd. So the way that this is looking, Capricorn, is that, of course, this time last year you were experiencing a Mercury retrograde in your 1st house. So have a little think about what was maybe going on around that time for you, what you were reflecting on, what you were reevaluating. These might be themes that are coming up again for you. These can be themes pertaining to perhaps spiritual beliefs, because Mercury rules your 9th house, travel arrangements. This can also possibly be surrounding the work that you do, the services that you provide. You might be reevaluating where you fit into these different parts of your life and how you're bringing yourself to the table, what you're bringing to the table in terms of your services, your work. You might be reflecting on your health, your diet choices, how these are affecting you physically with Mercury retrograde in your sign. But Mercury retrograding back into your 12th house and squaring Neptune in your 3rd. There's a sense, Capricorn, that perhaps when Mercury retrogrades back into Sagittarius, that a matter, a conversation from around the 26th, 27th of November comes up again. It has to be reevaluated, it has to be reconsidered. So if you did have an important conversation around then, or you were having an intuitive hit around then, this might be coming up again for review. And this is because Mercury is going to be in your 12th house, squaring Neptune in your 3rd. And Mercury square Neptune brings confusion, it brings misunderstandings, and therefore it adds to the sense that we have to reevaluate and go over old ground. We might actually find ourselves, or you might find yourself, rethinking something someone said. You might not be able to let it go. It might be somebody says one thing that keeps playing on your mind in a loop. Or you have a question about somebody that perhaps did something that you didn't see coming, and you have a lot of questions that you're going over in your mind, because Mercury in the 12th house tends to be where our intuition is telling us something, but we can't necessarily see what we need to close the chapter, see what we need to gain the understanding, gain the clarity. This can be the house of self-undoing. So you might be wondering why you did something. You might be wondering why you said something. Or you might be losing sleep over a communication issue with somebody else. Mercury in the 12th can absolutely disrupt our sleep. So it could be that there's a matter where you're not quite getting clarity, you're not quite getting closure until the end of the retrograde on what it actually means for you. Sagittarius, Capricorn. I actually was calling Sagittarius Capricorn, and now I'm calling you Sagittarius. There's going to be a Sun-Mercury conjunction, so the Cazimi is going to happen on the 22nd of December in your sign at 0 degrees. This might be a moment where you get clarity. And you might get clarity because you're deciding that you're going to put yourself first, you're going to put your own well-being first, even if someone's not giving you all the answers, even if something feels a little confusing, even if you don't feel like you're going to get closure, even if you don't feel like you're going to get clarity. This could be a time when you're actually deciding to give yourself the closure, you're actually deciding you want to say something, you want to communicate something, and who cares what everyone else thinks or what they think or what they did. It's something you have to get off your chest. So you may have a very important communication coming up around the 22nd, Capricorn, especially if you have Capricorn placements at 0 degrees. The good thing about the Mercury retrograde for you is that it is going to trine Jupiter in Taurus. So this is really positive for you, Capricorn. Perhaps from a creative standpoint, you may be finding that you're more creative. You might be able to put your creativity out there a little bit more, particularly because Jupiter is going to go direct on the 30th, and it's going to trigger the eclipse of October 28th. So if you think back to then, was there something coming up for you surrounding love, surrounding dating, surrounding your creativity, your passions, your hobbies? Did you have an idea? Did you have inspiration? Did something come up that you want to do? Well, it might be coming to a head in December. There might be some sort of abundance or fruition in your 5th house. And it feels like you're taking action on this with Mercury being in your sign, trining Jupiter. So it could very well be that going into the new year, Capricorn, but throughout December, you're able to put your creativity into practice. Or you might be talking to someone that you feel very passionate about, or having very exciting conversations pertaining to love and romance maybe. Other things that we have going on for you, Capricorn, on the 3rd, and I'm not going to lie, a lot of Capricorn risings have been having a bit of trouble when it comes to career, because the South Node is going through your 10th house. Now, Venus is going to be squaring Pluto in your sign, and Venus is the ruler of your 10th house and in your 10th house on the 3rd of December, squaring Pluto. So it feels as though you may be feeling a bit frustrated. You may be feeling a bit irritated with career. You might be feeling a bit powerless. You might be feeling a little bit like you want to take control. You might be feeling like you might be feeling a bit psychologically triggered by matters going on in your work, or with an authority figure, or with a parent. You could be feeling a little bit frustrated, and you might want to take your power back in some way, Capricorn, with Pluto being in your sign. So there could be a bit of frustration going on around that time. Because Mercury at the same time is sextiling Saturn, your ruler, in your 3rd house, I feel like it may be worth talking to a sibling, a neighbor, a cousin, because there could be a helpful conversation, or talking about your feelings in the matter might actually help you a little bit, Capricorn. But it feels like you're a little bit back and forth maybe this month on what it is that you want to say. But I do think around the 22nd you have some clarity on what that is for you, Capricorn. Because Mercury trining Jupiter and Mercury sextiling Saturn as part of this retrograde cycle, it does feel as though this Mercury retrograde is going to benefit you in the long run, Capricorn. It feels like you're going to get better at communicating. It feels like you're going to express your talents, your creativity better. You might have more productive conversations after this retrograde with a child of yours or matters surrounding children as well. There's a full moon in your sector of relationships on the 26th or the 27th, depending on where you are. And this brings your romantic life to a head, your romantic partnerships. This brings your dating life, your relationship, your spouse, your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your business partner. These matters they're highlighted under this full moon. And in quite a positive way, I must say, because you have a trine coming in from this full moon to your ruler Saturn in Pisces, meaning that you might be having very productive conversations with a partner. You might be committing to something with a partner. You also have a sextile to Jupiter in your 5th house, so there could be more romance, more joy with a partner, happiness with a partner, perhaps moving into a new chapter with a partner or developing your relationship in some way, shape or form. Capricorn, this looks like quite a positive full moon for a lot of people. I would say Capricorn risings that are in long-term relationships are more likely to be the ones getting engaged at Christmas with this particular energy. Especially because at the same time there's a really cute trine from Venus in Scorpio to Neptune in Pisces. Now, speaking of Venus, Venus is going through your 11th house of friendships and teams. So these are going to be areas that are benefiting you, Capricorn, this month. You're going to be finding you're getting on better with your friends. You're spending time with your friends. There's more social activities, more joyous occasions to attend, especially with females, because Venus is females. It could be that you're maybe socializing quite a bit. There is an opposition between Venus and Uranus, as well as Venus and Jupiter this month in your 5th house. So perhaps you're wanting to attend a social event and your children maybe start to act up if you have them, or there's matters surrounding children come up unexpectedly that need your attention, that maybe holds you back a bit from your fun, your parties, or you might need to find a babysitter last minute or something. Or it might be that you have to choose between going on a date and going to a social event. There seems to be a bit of a tug of war between your 5th house of romance and love and children, and also your social life, your groups, your teams, your social networks. You might also have creative differences with a group, but you could also be bringing your creativity to some sort of group setting as well, Capricorn. But one other thing that I want to mention is that from the 29th, you start to feel a little bit more low-key as Venus enters your 12th house. And you may feel like you want to relax, you want to keep things quiet, keep things private, and spend a little bit more time behind the scenes. Capricorn is something that's coming up for you from then. You maybe don't feel as social getting into the new year as well. That is what I have for you, Capricorn. I hope you have a beautiful month, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, Aquarius. Welcome to December. So Aquarius, this is Sagittarius season for most of the month, and then we have Capricorn season. So it's two very distinctive energies. One part of the month for you is incredibly social, incredibly busy, and your social calendar may be very packed for a lot of December. But then there's also a chapter that's much more quiet, much more reflective, and much more introspective. So until the 21st, the sun is in your 11th house. And we have Mercury leave your 11th house on the 1st, but will retrograde back into it, and Mars is there all month. Mars being in your 11th house all month means that there is the potential for having a lot more energy to socialize, a lot more energy to network. But there is also the possibility of more discourse online, more challenges may come up with friends, groups, and teams. There could be a bit of discord there, if you're going to have discord anywhere. There may also be discord surrounding humanitarian matters, surrounding your charitable endeavors. So maybe you're volunteering at something for Christmas and it gets kind of competitive, which might actually work out better for the charity, but maybe you're getting involved in something charitable that ends up, you treat it as a bit of a competition, and that could be helpful. But you never know, it could actually cause a little bit of discord with the people around you that you're volunteering with. So just be mindful of that, Aquarius. But I do think for a lot of you, if you're involved in sporting groups, this could be a very positive month for social activity too. Now, Mercury actually enters your 12th house on the 1st, which means that when it comes to communication, you might actually not be very direct. You might be holding yourself back a bit more from saying things, from putting your opinion out there. You might not necessarily feel as though you want to share your thoughts with the world. That's okay. Venus is going to enter your 10th house on the 4th. Now, Venus is in fall in Scorpio, but Venus is still a benefic, and going through your 10th house means that your relationships to people you work with, people in positions of power, how you're viewed at your job, are all a lot more favorable than usual. And this might add again to the fact that, Aquarius, there could be potentials for you to network with the people that you work with, socialize with the people that you work with, and to have better times with the people that you work with in general, Aquarius. I will say though, as a fixed sign, Venus in Scorpio is going to oppose your ruler Uranus on the 21st, which may actually bring a little bit of drama either to your work life, your work relationships, or your home and family life, or both. There may be a drama affecting you at home, something unpredictable in your family that affects how you're feeling at work, or it might be that a living situation, a property matter, is a little bit chaotic, and that again is maybe rattling your ability to feel peace and calm in your workplace at the same time. There does seem to be that opposing energy, and that is bonus points if you have fixed sign placements at 19 degrees of the fixed signs, so Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, or Leo. This can also bring a little bit of relationship drama, jealousy, perhaps surrounding work or surrounding family. There could be jealousy, envy, a little bit of drama in those areas for you, Aquarius. We do have Neptune stationing direct in your 2nd house on the 6th. You have Saturn there, making you a lot more financially sober, being a little bit more somber when it comes to your money, maybe being a little bit less frivolous, or maybe you have financial commitments, meaning that your money has to go to more serious matters. But Neptune going direct here adds a little bit more wistfulness, idealism, and the potential to dream a little bit bigger when it comes to your finances. It can also increase your spending because maybe you're feeling a little bit rose-tinted surrounding money. So just be mindful of that, Aquarius. Other things going on, we have a new moon in your 11th house on the 12th, so this might be a very key time for socializing with a group of people. You might be joining a team around this time, have a new team member. You might be finding that you're making new friends, you're connecting with new people on social media as well, Aquarius. It is going to be conjunct Mars, so you might be connecting with people who play sports or who are very passionate or brave or courageous, Aquarius, and these might be people that are very easy for you to talk to because Mars rules your 3rd house, so you might meet them in your local community, you might have gone to school together, you might have shared interests. Mercury goes retrograde in your 12th house on the 13th and re-enters your 11th on the 23rd. There could be miscommunication coming up with friends or groups of people, or a bit of elusiveness when it comes to friends or groups of people. And particularly if your finances are involved with groups of people. So that could be the team that you work with. There could be a little bit of back and forth communication. You're not so sure what the future holds. And regarding your money, you're not so sure what the future holds regarding the team that you're a part of or your friendship. You're not so sure if your values are aligning with certain friends anymore. And this is going to be a period of reevaluation right up until January 1st when Mercury goes direct. But this is a wider theme into the new year, so you might be finding that you're reevaluating some friendships in your life and whether you have the same values, or there could be a bit of back and forth communication regarding a team that you're a part of, a group that you're a part of, and perhaps finances could be involved in that too. Mercury retrograde in your 12th house could have you a little bit more curious about what lies beneath in terms of your subconscious, in terms of your healing that you do, Aquarius, in terms of maybe the esoteric, the spiritual. You might be more interested in the paranormal. You might be more interested in investigating different topics surrounding the paranormal, or something that's a little bit spiritual or out of the norm for you. This might really expand your viewpoint of the way that you were raised. You might even be curious of the religion you were brought up in, or the religion that maybe a parent had, or your ancestry, and you might be doing a little bit more digging there, Aquarius, and really learning through it and getting some very significant knowledge that's going to help you expand your mindset. and help you grow, and maybe even help you get on better with your home and with your family. Now, speaking of that area, think back to October 28th. What was going on with your home, your family, your living situation? Because there was a lunar eclipse in Taurus. And that lunar eclipse is triggered on the 30th of December because Jupiter is going to station direct at that degree, 5 degrees of Taurus. This is going to bring more abundance. This is going to bring more expansion to your home life, your family life, your property. You might be renovating a property, expanding a property, or there might be some better times ahead with home and family matters as well. There's a full moon in Cancer on the 26th or the 27th, depending on where you are in the world, Aquarius. And for you, this is pertaining to your work. This is pertaining to the services that you provide. And this is quite a fortunate full moon. This can also bring up health matters. You might be getting some health results around this time that are likely, obviously in all cases it may be different, but likely favorable for you, Aquarius, because it is going to be sextiling Jupiter and trining Saturn. And Chiron is going direct the same day in your third house of communication. So in terms of healing, perhaps something physical, you might be getting some good news, you might be getting some clarity. This full moon is going to be sextiling, as I say, Jupiter in your fourth and trining Saturn in your second. So perhaps you're getting a good bonus from work or a pay rise with the work and the services that you provide, or you're going to charge more. And perhaps this is favoring your family or your home. So maybe you're able to invest a little bit more in your home. Some of you might be deciding to set up a gym at home. You might be getting a home gym. You might be getting fitness equipment for Christmas, or fitness gifts, shoes, leggings, whatever for Christmas. That could be something that's coming up for you as well, Aquarius. Venus is going to enter your 11th house on the 29th, which is bringing blessings to your friendships, and things might become again a bit more social. You might have more social plans for the new year. You might be making good events with your friends, the teams that you're a part of, and you might be feeling particularly blessed when it comes to friendships, teams, and perhaps pursuing your goals. That's what I have for you, Aquarius, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Pisces, welcome to December 2023. So Pisces, your traditional ruler and your modern ruler, Jupiter and Neptune, are actually both going direct in December. Neptune is going direct, of course, in your first house of self, and Neptune is your modern ruler. Jupiter is going direct in your third house of communication on the 30th of December. So this month we have a bit of forward momentum for you in some ways. You might be starting to feel a little bit more like yourself. If you haven't for a while, you might be feeling a little bit more idealistic, a little bit more dreamy, a little bit more optimistic as we get into December, Pisces. You might feel more in touch with your intuition. You might feel more divinely guided. You might have an all-around better relationship with yourself. Now, this month could actually be quite social for a lot of Pisceans because we have Mercury entering your 11th house on the 1st. The 11th house is all about groups, social events, teams, networks. And as Mercury is linked to your 4th house and your 7th house, you could be socializing more with a partner, socializing more with your family. But Capricorn is also a sign associated with work, so you could be socializing with people that you work with, socializing with people that you know professionally, and maybe even reconnecting with people that you have known professionally, Pisces, as Mercury goes retrograde on the 13th in that part of the sky for you. Now, Mercury will retrograde back into your 10th house of professional life, career, on the 23rd. And this is going to be a little confusing. If you think back to around the 26th, 27th of November, Mercury was in a square to Neptune, and that's part of the Mercury retrograde cycle because Mercury will cover that ground again. So there may have been an authority figure, a boss who was trying to get hold of you, wanting to talk to you. Your professional life was maybe looking for you for something, wanting to call you, wanting to email you, and you were a bit evasive and a bit elusive. You might be in some ways, Pisces, afraid of your emails, afraid of your phone, or just feeling a bit avoidant in those areas. And it might cause a little bit of discord, a bit of tension, and maybe a bit of miscommunication as well. Or you might find you have a little bit of miscommunication with a boss, or a little bit of technology issues whenever you have meetings and things like that in your career. But when Mercury retrogrades in your 11th house on the 13th, it is going to be forming trines with Jupiter in Taurus in your 3rd house. So you might actually be reconnecting with people that you worked with professionally, or that you used to be friends with, that you used to know from school, potentially, with the connection to Jupiter in the 3rd, people that you grew up with in your neighborhood. Very likely this time of year that you'd reconnect or run in with people that you lived in the same neighborhood in. If you're traveling for the holiday season, you might be reconnecting or reaching out to people that you used to know or used to run around with or be friends with or communicate with quite a bit. You might also be having repetitive conversations on something with a sibling, with a cousin, with a neighbor. There could be a bit of back and forth going on there as well. And do pay attention to your 3rd house of your neighborhood, of your early education, of the classes that you take, of your relationship to your siblings, your relationship to your cousins, your extended family, because there's actually a lot of blessings in that area for you, Pisces. Jupiter is going to go direct on the 30th and is actually going to be triggering the eclipse that happened back in October. So with Jupiter triggering that point, this is now a period of abundance, this is now a period of growth, and this is a period of expansion, because you've maybe done a lot of reflection, a lot of inner growth on these areas, and now you're going to see the results materialize. So there could be positive events happening in your 3rd house thanks to Jupiter. There's a little bit of tension there though, because Uranus in Taurus is going to oppose Venus in Scorpio on the 21st. So there are other things going on around that time, Pisces. There could be an important conversation with a friend, with a team, surrounding a team, with a manifestation. There could be an important manifestation around the 22nd of December. But when Venus opposes Uranus on the 21st, Uranus going through your 3rd house can bring unexpected, unpredictable events in terms of communication, in terms of short distance trips, in terms of siblings, neighbours, cousins, aunts, uncles, the works. Opposing Venus in your 9th house, and I'll get to that in a second, but Venus in your 9th house can bring a lot of love and a lot of blessings, potentially more financial opportunities when it comes to traveling, when it comes to people in foreign locations. I would bet that if you're single, Pisces, and you're dating this month, you may be finding yourself attracted to or connecting with people who perhaps live at a distance or perhaps come from a different country or a very different background to you, maybe a different religion to you with Venus in the 9th. And there may be an important communication going on with someone who lives at a distance on the 9th or the 21st, but there seems to be a bit of unpredictability to it. There's a lot of opportunity for growth. There's a lot of opportunity perhaps for expansion when it comes to people from different lands, people from different countries, long distance relationships. But there can also be perhaps a little bit of unpredictability when it comes to those two. So the opposition to Uranus might bring a very unexpected communication to you around the 22nd, 21st of December. There could be an unexpected conversation. Somebody might actually be a bit jealous. Somebody might be a bit envious, and this might cause a bit of disruption in your life, Pisces. Professionally speaking, we have had a lot going on in your 10th house. The Sun is there till the 21st and Mars is there all month. So you may have more energy to pursue career matters, to be professional. You might be finding yourself more ambitious, more inspired to make money because Mars rules your 2nd house. But equally, you might also find bosses quite challenging, bosses quite annoying, bosses quite frustrating. Maybe a bit aggressive. Maybe someone in a position of authority is a bit temperamental, a bit moody, a bit angry. And with the square, now where is the square between Mars in your 10th house and Neptune? I believe it's happening on the 28th. You might want to take that day off work, because I feel as though you could feel really energetically disrupted by an angry authority figure or a boss, or you could feel a bit burnt out by all the work that you're doing if you don't take a good enough break, Pisces. So be mindful of that. You might also find the actions of a boss or an authority figure incredibly confusing around this time, or they find you confusing around this time as well, Pisces. Have no fear though, because Venus will enter your professional sector on the 29th, and going into the new year, you're more favored at work. You're finding that you're getting more blessings. Things come a bit easier to you in the new year, Pisces, with your professional life. There could be a new beginning in your professional life around the 12th, because the new moon in Sagittarius is going to be conjunct Mars. So there could be a new career opportunity, a new chapter in your career that perhaps favors you financially, but you're a little bit confused because it is going to square Neptune in your first house. So you might be feeling a bit confused about what this means for you, if this is right for you, if this totally aligns with you, if you feel as though this is going to go somewhere long term. I just think, Pisces, it seems to be that there is a new beginning for you in your career, a new professional chapter that you may be able to use your skills, you may be able to build your finances, but you just seem a bit confused about it, truthfully. Perhaps it's also because Mercury goes retrograde the next day in your 11th house, meaning you're reevaluating your future in general and you're getting quite reflective about what it is that you want. Pisces. Other things that we have going on for you, this is quite fun, but we have a full moon in your 5th house on the 26th, 27th of December. It's sextile your traditional ruler Jupiter, and it is going to be trining Saturn in your 1st house. So you can bet that this full moon is going to benefit you. Now, full moons in the 5th house can bring about romance, they can bring about pleasure, they can bring about joy, they can bring about parties, good times, fun times. It can be a chance to showcase your creativity. You may be feeling very creative. You might also be feeling very happy at home. You might be feeling very inclined to want to rest up at home, spend time with your family. But I would say if you're invited to a party or a gathering around this time, Pisces, do go, because I think you would have a really good time, especially if it's with siblings or cousins or aunts or uncles, thanks to the sextile to Jupiter in your 3rd house, or if it's somewhere in your local neighborhood, your local community, or it's a short distance trip that you're taking. You might actually find that romance is in the air around this time as well. A romantic, there could be something romantic occurring for you if you're dating that might actually have a bit of longevity with the trine to Saturn. You're kind of thinking, I might be able to commit to this, or I might be able to commit to this person. Or it might be a creative project where you're feeling like you could potentially commit more time and energy to that as well. The 27th, again, Mercury and Sagittarius square Neptune and Pisces. Work may be looking for you, they may be communicating with you, and you might be nowhere to be found, or you might be finding that you're trying to avoid and duck some calls. But on the 27th, the Sun in your 11th house is also trining Jupiter in your 3rd. So you might be socializing or attending an event with people that is very enjoyable for you. You might find in terms of career, though, that when someone does get in touch with you, they could be kind of harsh or abrasive, or you yourself could be quite harsh or abrasive. The square to Neptune means that there could be a bit of misunderstanding, a miscommunication, but be careful what you're communicating in work or in a professional setting or to the world around the 27th, because it might not come out right. It might not be construed the way you want it to, and it might actually sound a bit more aggressive or tense or harsh than you anticipated it. Or someone at work may say something that's quite harsh to you as well, Pisces, around the 27th, 28th. So that's what I have for you. I hope you have a beautiful month, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Aries, welcome to December. So Aries, let's have a little look at what's going on for you this month. There's quite a bit going on for you in terms of your belief systems, long distance travel, higher education. So for some of you, there could be a new chapter beginning in that sector for you. You might be planning a big trip. You might be planning a solo trip actually, because it is going to be conjunct Mars, which is your ruler. The new moon in Sagittarius in the 12th has the conjunction to Mars. It is going to be squaring Neptune in your 12th house, which means you might actually be finding that you're wanting to plan a trip, but you're not so sure how far you want to go, where you want to go, if you could go that far alone, if it's safe to go to the places that you're going. It feels as though a lot of you could be planning a trip or some kind of adventure. Aries is what I'm seeing this as. This might also be a time where perhaps you are beginning some course of study, maybe a degree, maybe a diploma. You're going to start to study something, and this is going to be something that is very self-motivated. With Mars there, you might be feeling very driven to do this. You might be feeling very driven to pursue this new chapter in your education, to learn something new, to study something new, with this being in the 9th house. Now, we do have a Mercury retrograde this month. So for you, Aries, Mercury enters your 10th house on the 1st and will retrograde on the 13th and will re-enter your 9th house on the 23rd. So right up until the 23rd, there is a lot of back and forth, and this will proceed into the new year, but there's a bit of back and forth on what you want professionally, what you want to communicate professionally, what you want to be doing every day as your service, what you want to be offering professionally, how you want to communicate at work, where you want to be working. It feels as though this is a period of reevaluation of your professional life, Aries, where you're going to reconsider what this is for you. I do feel as though in terms of your finances, there may be more opportunities for you to make money from your career, because the Mercury retrograde cycle does include trines to Jupiter in your second house. And Jupiter is actually going to station direct on the 30th. So for you, Aries, this means that you may experience more growth, more abundance financially than you have done in quite a while. And you can really grow your finances, really grow your income, perhaps add in more sources of income into your career, because it feels as though for you, Aries, you may be reevaluating what it is that you have to offer, and therefore you might be actually realizing you're not using all the skills that you have or offering everything that you have to offer in order to make money, or monetizing your skills. And now, not everything is about, you can enjoy things and love doing things. You don't have to make money from them. But this is just showing up in terms of finances for you, Aries. It is also entirely possible that if you aren't making money from a gift that you have, or a passion that you have, or a skill that you have, you might just be increasing your confidence because you're doing it as well. The sun is going to enter your professional sector on the 21st, which is again adding more energy and ambition to your Capricorn house, to your work, to your career, and you may be setting some goals for the new year. There's a Sun-Mercury conjunction on the 22nd, which does feel like an important communication for a lot of you when it comes to your career and your professional life. There could be an important message around that time pertaining to your career, Aries. Other things that we have going on for you is that on the 26th or the 27th, depending on where you are in the world, we have a full moon in your 4th house. And this is happening at 4 degrees of Cancer. So if you have anything at 4 degrees of Cancer, pay extra attention. But this full moon in your 4th house is quite positively aspected. So this could be a lovely time to spend time with family. It's forming a sextile to Jupiter in your 2nd house and trine Saturn in your 12th. So perhaps you're enjoying better times with family. And this may be linked to some of the inner work or inner healing you've been doing with Saturn going through your 12th house. And it may also be that you're feeling quite optimistic about a family event or a family gathering around this time. Or if it's a home and property matter, some of you could be moving. If you're moving, you might actually be finding yourself moving a bit further afield or to somewhere a bit different because of the sextile to Jupiter. Jupiter in your chart does rule foreign lands, so it might be that you're actually moving abroad, or you're maybe taking a holiday with family, or perhaps you're reconnecting with family from afar or who live abroad or live at a distance with this particular full moon, Aries. Mars, your ruler, is going to square Neptune on the 28th. So on the 27th, Mercury is conjunct your ruler Mars, and then on the 28th, Mars comes into its exact square to Neptune. If around the 27th, 28th, you really feel like you want to take action, you want to book a last minute trip, just be aware that this could actually bring a bit of confusion. And you might not 100% be checking the details correctly. You might not necessarily know what's going to happen. With the square to Neptune, Mercury Mars is taking direct action. You're thinking, I know what I want, I'm going to go for this. Then the square to Neptune is saying, do you actually know the details? Or do you actually know if this is possible? With the Mercury retrograde period, traveling can be a little bit more problematic. Sometimes it's quite simply just a bit irritating, like losing a train ticket. Just missing a train and having to wait an hour, or the train's full. It can be irritating things like that that disrupt your travel. It doesn't have to be grand, but because it's in your 9th house, I do feel that if you're traveling abroad or you're planning to travel abroad, Aries, there could be some miscommunication or confusion surrounding perhaps what's happening in the country you're traveling to, where you're going, and you might be overlooking some details, or you might not be told the whole story. So just take extra care, check the details a little bit more when you are traveling, Aries. That is something that is worth considering. That's what I have for you. I hope you have a beautiful month, and I'll talk to you soon. Hi Taurus, welcome to December. So Taurus, One of the main things happening for you this month is that your ruler Venus is in your 7th house and is going to be making oppositions to Jupiter in your sign and Uranus in your sign. And the other main thing happening for you this month is that Jupiter is going direct at the degree of the lunar eclipse in your sign in October. So this is quite significant for you. But we'll start with Venus. Venus being in your 7th house brings blessings to your partnership, your relationship. This can be a good time for getting into a new relationship. It can also be a good time for connecting deeper to your partner, spending more time with your partner, prioritizing your relationship and bringing a bit of blessings to your union. If you're single, it's a better time to date. It's a better time to meet people because they're more likely to be relationship potential. But Venus is going to form an opposition to Jupiter and Uranus. So on the 9th, Venus opposes Jupiter in your 1st house. This could perhaps make you want to spoil a partner or give someone a gift, someone that you love a gift. You might want to indulge with them, go for a nice dinner, go for a nice meal. The moon will be in Scorpio there too, adding emphasis to your relationship. So that is looking like a nice time to go out with your partner, to pick a gift for your partner, to indulge, to eat out, or to go on a date with someone that you would like to be getting a bit closer to. Venus does oppose Uranus on the 21st, and I kind of feel like for you, maybe in your relationship, you're wanting to do something a little different, you're wanting to try something new, you're wanting to experiment, you're wanting to think outside the box, or maybe you're feeling a bit chaotic, or you're trying something new yourself, and your partner is kind of looking at you like, what? You might also unexpectedly hear from someone, maybe hear from an ex, maybe hear from someone that you used to date, or you might find yourself either on the receiving end of some jealousy, some envy from a relationship. A key relationship in your life doesn't even have to be romantic, it could be a best friend, or you're finding yourself be a bit jealous or a bit envious in a relationship matter. Or maybe even envious of someone else financially, Taurus. But let's go back to the start. So Mercury is going to enter Capricorn on the 1st. And for you, this is occurring in your 9th house. So you may be finding that conversation about travel, about foreign affairs, about higher education, these might be areas of life that you're very busy in, perhaps at your higher study, your university. You might be busy taking trips, traveling, and there could be a little bit of stickiness with this, Taurus, because Mercury is going to retrograde there on the 13th, meaning that your travel plans could be disrupted. You could find that there's a little bit of irritation while traveling. It doesn't mean you don't have to travel or you shouldn't travel. It can just mean that perhaps you lose a train ticket, perhaps you forget your passport on the way to the airport. So double check the details when it comes to taking a trip, when it comes to maybe taking a class at university as well, or studying, or reading materials. This is the place where you're more likely to have mind blanks, or you're more likely to miss the point or miss the email or something like that, Taurus. The Mercury retrograde cycle is kind of nice for you though, because it is going to trine Jupiter in your sign. So you might actually find that traveling, taking a trip, you could strike up conversations with people who really expand your mindset, or you could connect with people from different locations that in some way, shape, or form help you grow, help you develop, help you see things from a different perspective, or you might even encounter or reconnect with a teacher or a mentor in your life, Taurus, which could be really positive for you. And you could find them really insightful this time around if you didn't before. It could be that perhaps you're reconnecting with someone that you really admire, someone that you really admire their work, you really admire their philosophy, their view of the world, and this could be someone who's coming back into your life, or someone that you're connecting with who feels like they've always been in your life or they're meant to be in your life, Taurus. There is going to be a full moon in your 3rd house on the 26th or the 27th of December, depending on where you are, and this is going to be sextiling Jupiter in your 1st house. So the 3rd house for you is all about communication, writing, writing poems, writing books, putting posts online, social media, your communication style, and these matters could come to a head. The theme of these, if you're a writer, if you're writing something, if you're publishing something, if you're putting something out there, it may be to do with family, it may be to do with home, it might be to do with how you grew up, because it's in the sign of Cancer, Taurus. But it might also be that this is in some way helping you grow, helping you heal. It might also be that you're taking a trip around this time that helps you grow or helps you heal. And you may feel really supported by people online. It is going to be trine Saturn in your 11th house. And you might find that perhaps people are rallying around you, supporting you, particularly older people. They're feeling very impressed with your work. They're feeling really impressed with what it is that you have to say. There could be matters coming up surrounding a sibling, surrounding extended family, or you could be spending time with these people around the time of the full moon. And this again could be positive for you. You could be making plans for the future with these people as well, Taurus. Another nice thing happening for you on the 25th is that Venus in your partnership sector is trining Neptune in your 11th. So if you're in a relationship, you may be making plans with a partner for the future. You may be discussing the future in a way that feels very idealistic and dreamy. Do you know when you sort of lie awake at 2 in the morning talking to someone about the future, talking to someone about the world, and you've all these lovely dreams and ambitions? That's kind of what it feels like for a lot of you. And if it's not a partner, it could be a best friend or someone you care about very deeply. You feel very bonded to, Taurus. So the main thing that's happening for you on the 30th would be Jupiter going direct in your sign. Now this is the final stretch of Jupiter in your sign, but thankfully it's at 5 degrees, meaning that right up until May, you're going to be feeling the expansion, feeling the growth, feeling the blessings personally. I swear Jupiter in Taurus feels so much longer than Jupiter in Aries did, or Jupiter in Pisces did for some reason. But nevertheless, Taurus, you're going to be feeling abundance. You're going to be growing. You're going to be feeling very expansive, optimistic, joyful. If there was something happening for you around October 28th, at the end of October, in and around there with the eclipse, this is being triggered again on the 30th. So you can expect more growth or developments. You may have had something happen where, Jupiter being in your sign, Jupiter does rule your 11th house of the future, of friendships, but it also rules your 8th house of shared resources, money, finances, but Jupiter is associated with travel, legalities, those kind of things. You may find that if there were developments happening in your life there around the 28th that was going to help you grow, Taurus, that there's now forward momentum and any reflection you've been doing, any back and forth surrounding those topics or those areas for you, Taurus, you're getting the full growth and the full enjoyment of those going forward. I do find that a lot of Taurus risings have been traveling quite a bit under this particular cycle. So you may be finding that you're ready to do a little bit more. You know where you want to go. You know how you want to grow. You know in your life what you want to expand, Taurus. And it's really looking quite favorable for you. I also feel that on the 3rd, with Neptune going direct in your 11th house, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to teams, if there has been a bit of confusion or a bit of disillusionment, you've maybe been feeling a little bit pessimistic, Saturn being in your 11th house, you may find going forward that you're now connecting with people who feel they're maybe quite idealistic, they may be quite optimistic, they may be quite spiritual, they may be quite mystical and magical. You may find that in terms of friendships, you're feeling a little bit more loving, you're feeling the unconditional love, or you're attracting friendships that have strong intuition, high imagination, and you're really enjoying that sector of life with Neptune going direct. Obviously, be careful of being deceived with Neptune in this sector, but this is a longer cycle that you have been experiencing. But I do feel if you've been feeling the weight of Saturn, the pessimism in terms of your friendships, maybe clearing some friendships out, this is making way for friendships who feel a little bit more dreamy and like they love you unconditionally, and it's not so conditional and restrictive in some ways, Taurus. That's what I have for you. I hope you have a great December, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Gemini, welcome to December. So Gemini, the main thing for you this month is that your ruler Mercury is going to be spending the whole month either in retrograde, pre-shadow, or retrograde. In fact, Mercury will not go direct until the 1st of January 2024. So for December, your ruler is doing a little bit of a backspin. And this means that you yourself are more reflective. This means that you yourself are taking the time to reconsider things, reconsider your perspective, reconsider your communication style. And this could be in the areas of relationships, because Mercury is going to retrograde from your 8th house back into your 7th. Both of these houses are very linked to relationships, particularly spouses and ex-spouses. This could be a time where you, above all signs, are either hearing from or thinking of or perhaps running into an ex, an old lover, or an old spouse in particular. Now, this does not mean that you necessarily will hear from someone from the past. In fact, usually Mercury retrograde for you, Gemini, would be you communicating with someone from the past, but it doesn't have to be anybody getting in touch with anyone. It can actually be that they appear in a dream. It can be that you just run into them in the store and you avoid them like the plague. It can be that you think of them or they appear in your social media or your timeline for whatever reason, and it just brings up feelings of nostalgia. I do think a lot of you could experience running into an ex or an old partnership, an old business partnership, an old friendship even in your hometown, because Mercury also rules your 4th house of home. So if you're traveling back to where you grew up for the holiday season, you might run into someone that you used to be in a relationship with, even if it's all the way back from your school days, but you could very well run into someone from the past, Gemini. That is one way that this retrograde period could come up for you. I will also say that as it is year end, in some countries, I know here, for example, we do have to file our taxes in December, January time. The 8th house is associated with that. So if you are working on your taxes, your tax return, or there's communication going back and forth there, just remember to double check the details. Open your letters, open your post, especially if you're getting letters from the bank, letters from your accountant, letters from the government. Do make sure to open your post. And I don't mean that in a way that I sound condescending. For some reason, I'm very bad at opening letters. I don't know what it is. It's just my brain. I seem to have trouble opening correspondence. I'm not sure what it is. I'm getting better at it, but it has been a bit of a block and I don't know why. But you might be experiencing that this month with Mercury retrograde, or your post might actually go missing with important documents. So make sure if you don't hear from an accountant when you usually would, you check in with them. Or if there's back and forth surrounding a loan, an inheritance, a mortgage, make sure that you're double checking the details. There is a trine to Jupiter in your 12th house, and Jupiter rules your partnership sector. Jupiter also rules your 10th house. So this might be that you have some sort of guarantor or guardian angel type figure helping you out with a joint financial matter or something to do with your finances. Maybe they tell you something that you really needed to know that helps you out financially. Gemini. Neptune is going to go direct in your 10th house. So if you've been feeling a bit disillusioned, a bit too serious, a bit too somber about your career, about your future, your professional life, this might be a time when you start to feel a little bit more imaginative. You start to feel a little bit more inspired. You might have better visions for the future with Neptune being there. Having a co-presence of Neptune and Saturn in your career sector, on one hand, gives you the dedication, the somberness, the responsibility, the commitment to your career, to advance and to progress for sure. But Neptune can also require the vision, the imagination to make things happen, and also the hope and the idealism that can sometimes help balance out a bit of the tougher Saturn energies. Gemini. The Mercury retrograde's getting to me already. But you might actually start to feel a little bit more like you can dream again when it comes to your career. You might feel a bit more creative too, a little bit more inspired when it comes to your professional life, Gemini. We have a new moon in your relationship sector on the 12th, and it's conjunct Mars. Mars rules your 11th house of friendships. So it may be a case that you could be beginning a new partnership for some of you, and if you are, you may meet this person through a friend. You may meet this person through the internet, through a social event with a lot of people, with a team event. They might be on your team. Or it could be that this person is sporty, this person is brave, this person's courageous or ambitious. If you're in a relationship, you and your partner might be beginning a new passionate chapter, or a time when you're working on a shared goal, a shared vision for the future. There could absolutely be a new beginning in your relationship life, Gemini. It is in a square to Neptune, so you might not be 100% sure what this is going to mean for you professionally, or if you have a relationship announcement, it might not necessarily be received the way you expected it to, because other people might misunderstand what you're trying to say, with Neptune in the 10th house squaring this new moon. Other things happening for you this month, Gemini, is that the Sun, Mercury, Cazimi on the 22nd is happening in your 8th house. So there could be an important communication on the 22nd surrounding joint financial ventures. This might also be a time when you get a moment of clarity when it comes to some shadow work or psychological work that you've been doing or considering. Gemini. Mercury retrograde enters your 7th house on the 23rd. From the 23rd onward, is a time where you might run into an ex, you might hear from an ex, you might think about an ex. It's going to square Neptune in your 10th house on the 27th. So if you do think about an ex or you do run into an ex, you might not be 100% sure if this is actually going to go anywhere. If you are reconnecting with someone because of the square to Neptune in the 10th house, there could be miscommunication, misunderstandings. Similarly, in your relationships with a partner, with a best friend, there could be confusion and misunderstanding about perhaps a work matter or a goal that you're working on. Mercury is going to conjunct Mars in your 7th house on the 27th, squaring Neptune on the 28th. Be careful in your communication with a partner. It could just so go very, very wrong around the 27th. Gemini, I'm really sorry to say that, but it could go wrong. You might find a partner very direct, very blunt, a bit harsh. It might not be that they're intending to be, but the square to Neptune can absolutely confuse things, and you might feel a bit hurt by what it is that they're trying to say. It might come across as very abrasive, or you might be coming across abrasive to a partner. So do just be extra cautious about your communication or about communicating what it is that you want or want to do within a relationship, because it seems to be a little bit off. And your partner might actually find your behavior a little bit odd, or you might find theirs a bit odd. This could be a key relationship in your life. It doesn't have to be romantic, by the way. Venus does enter your 7th house on the 29th, though, which is lovely because this is going to bring blessings to your relationship sector, and perhaps for some of you bring in a new relationship, and for others of you better times in your relationship as well. Jupiter is going to be going direct in Taurus on the 30th in your 12th house. This is triggering the eclipse of October 28th, and this may be a period for you, Gemini, up until May of 2024, where you start to really grow spiritually. You're growing behind the scenes. It's the inner work that you're doing. That's where your blessings are, your connection to the divine, to the spiritual, healing your self-sabotaging behaviors, healing addictions, healing emotional patterns, and perhaps doing some inner reflective work. This is where you're going to see the most growth, Gemini. That is what I have for you, and I'll talk to you soon. Cancer, welcome to December 2023 for your sign. So Cancer, there is a full moon happening in your sign on the 26th to the 27th of the month, and this depends on where you are in the world. But this is your main event for December because the full moon's in your sign and you're ruled by the moon. So this adds to the sense that you around this time may be feeling a little bit more emotional, a little bit more in touch with your feelings, a bit more in touch with your intuition. You could actually be feeling quite nostalgic. You could actually be feeling quite home-oriented or wanting to spend more time at home with this full moon being in your sign, because your sign is the sign associated with home, associated with family. So you could be spending time with your family. Obviously, this is lining up with Christmas time, so you may be going home to your family, or you might be spending more time with your loved ones. Now, this is going to be sextiling Jupiter in your 11th house, though. So it's possible that you might be venturing out with family or going to a family event or a family gathering, because the 11th house is associated with groups of people. It's associated with social networking. So you may be finding yourself going to a family reunion, a big family party. It is going to be trining Saturn in your 9th house. So it is also possible, Cancer, that some of you could be traveling home to a different, you could be, if you're from a different country, you could be traveling to see your family, or you could be connecting with your family, perhaps remotely on the internet, having some sort of quiz online or some sort of get together, Cancer. But this is a time when you're perhaps also gaining a realization on a goal that you want to achieve or what you want for the future. Or you might be starting to feel a bit optimistic about what the future holds for you for some reason, Cancer, with the sextile to Jupiter. And the trine to Saturn, maybe you're starting to see things from a different spiritual perspective, and this is helping you heal. Maybe you've actually decided since Saturn went into Pisces that you're a little bit more committed to a particular religion or a particular spiritual viewpoint or spiritual practice that maybe makes you feel more secure, and you really feel like you could do this for the long run, and this is perhaps something that's making you feel more self-accepting around the time of this full moon, Cancer. But let's go back to the start of the month. So one of the main things happening in December is Mercury retrograde. For you, Cancer, Mercury is going to enter your partnership sector on the 1st. And this is where it's going to go retrograde, but it's going to retrograde back into your 6th. So when it comes to your relationship, if you have a significant other, there may be a little bit of back and forth about attending certain events, certain social events. There might be a bit of back and forth on your goals and aspirations for the future as a relationship. This brings more potential for misunderstanding. This also brings the potential, Cancer, for thinking of, running into, hearing from an ex or an old relationship. I have to stress this, that sometimes when Mercury retrograde happens in your 7th house, you just simply dream of an ex, or they come up in your timeline in social media, even if you don't follow them, or there's something about them comes up, you hear news about them that maybe triggers something for you. It maybe triggers memories, it maybe triggers nostalgia, or perhaps you do hear from someone and they want to get back together and you have to reconsider this, because it's going to be trining Jupiter in your 11th house. So this person might be someone you decide you're actually going to be friends with, or you're going to accept their friend request, or maybe you do see a future with this person after all. So that could be something that's happening for some of you too. You might actually reconnect with an ex and it could be someone that you really do care about, or you might reconnect with an old friend and it might actually be a relationship potential as well, Cancer. Adding to this, the fact that Venus enters Scorpio, your 5th house, on the 4th, which brings a lot of romance, love, dating, passion, flirtation to your month, with Venus going through the 5th house until the 29th. Venus is going to oppose, though, Uranus in your 11th and Jupiter in your 11th. So the 9th of the month, it could be a really nice time for a date, or to go out with a partner, or to wine and dine, go to a party. It could be very extravagant around the 9th. This could be a really nice time to indulge, good food, good wine, whatever it is, Cancer. But on the 21st, when Venus in your 5th house opposes Uranus in your 11th, on one hand, if you have children, they could be acting up, or on the other hand, you might actually be encountering some unexpected jealousy or envy, either from your children, maybe envying you going to an event, or there could be envy between your kids, or it could actually be that a friend is showing you some sort of envy or jealousy or drama. It kind of gives me the sense, Cancer, that if some drama does come up around this time, it could be linked to jealousy or envy in some ways. Neptune's going to go direct in your 9th house on the 6th. And this is adding to the sense that I think you're feeling a lot more spiritual, or connected to the divine, or connected to a particular religion this month, Cancer. That could be something that's happening for you too. You might start to feel unconditional love of the universe, which I know sounds really woo-woo to some people, but it could actually be really feeling connection to the divine, connection to spirit, connection to source, and maybe feeling a bit more magical, which would be nice this time of year, I have to say. The new moon in Sagittarius on your 12th. The new moon in Sagittarius on the 12th in your 6th house, Cancer. Could be a new beginning in your work life. With the conjunction to Mars, you might be deciding that you're really going to put your energy and focus into applying for jobs, or pursuing a new job, a new work environment. Even if you're not entirely sure if you're qualified, even if you're not entirely sure if you even have faith that you're going to get it, I think you're going to be pursuing it anyway. This might also be a time when you're going to pursue a health or fitness goal, or change your diet. Again, even if you're not so sure that you're going to meet the targets, I think you're going to go for it and put action towards it anyway, Cancer. Other things happening for you this month, there's a Sun Mercury Cazimi on the 22nd in your relationship sector. Key conversation with a partner, key event with a relationship, a significant relationship in your life. Your partner may have news, or there might be something that really needs to be discussed. You might reach clarity on a misunderstanding with a partnership as well, Cancer. Final thing I want to mention for you is that Jupiter is going to go direct in your 11th house on the 30th. This is triggering the event of the eclipse, 28th of October. So whatever was going on around then, this might actually be repeating in some way, or there might be the next development or some sort of materialization. Because Jupiter in the 11th house, I have to say, it was just one of my favorite transits of my life. It's a shame it only comes around 12 years, but this is a time when you might find you're growing your social networking sector, you're making more friends, manifestations come easier, you're manifesting a big dream of yours. Cancer, you might be finding that you're making very significant friendships, you're having good times with your friends, you're broadening your horizons socially, and there could be new fated, destined friends entering your life around the end of December, because it is triggering that eclipse point for you, Cancer. If there's anything else that I want to mention, I think it's that if you are, with that new moon in Sagittarius, pursuing a new health or fitness or diet regime, schedule, do try and keep the faith. I feel as though with the square to Neptune, you might not be 100% sure how it's going to happen, but every journey begins with a single step. And with the conjunction to Mars, usually new moons with a conjunction to Mars feel more inspiring. You have more courage, you have more discipline, you have more energy to pursue the thing that you want. Even if you're not 100% sure of the how, of the when, I feel as though if you are pursuing something for the sake of your health or your well-being, I think you're going to do a good job. And I think you just have to push on if this is something that's very important to you as well. Because even the Mercury retrograde, when a Mercury retrogrades back into your 6th house, you might be thinking, right, well, okay, I was going to do this, but maybe I should do this instead. And there might be a little bit of reevaluation, but, you know, success is more like this than it is just this. So when words escape in Mercury retrograde, just use your hands. That is what I have for you. I hope you have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Leo, welcome to December 2023. So Leo, we have quite a lot of activity going on in your 5th house of pleasure, of joy, of romance, of love, of children, of creativity. We have a bit of a pile up here. We have the sun there, Mars is there all month. Mercury is going to retrograde back into this sector from the 23rd. So we have a lot happening in your 5th house, meaning that this month, a lot of the focus, especially until the 23rd, the 21st, sorry, because the sun is going to be in the 5th house and the sun is obviously your ruler. Your focus for most of the month is on your joy, of what makes you happy, of what you feel is fun to do, what's pleasurable for you. You're adding more romance into your life. You're adding more joy into your life, choosing fun, choosing to be silly, choosing to do things for the sake of enjoyment. And that's going to be quite lovely for you. That's where your passion is. That's where you're motivated, because Mars is there as well. That's where you're getting your energy from. You might be feeling incredibly creative. And if you do have creative pursuits that you're very passionate about, this is the month to enjoy them. Now, in saying that, from the 23rd, when Mercury goes retrograde back, when Mercury retrogrades back into, Mercury goes retrograde on the 13th, just for clarity, but on the 23rd, it retrogrades back into your 5th house from your 6th. When Mercury retrogrades back into your 5th house, you might actually be finding that you are picking up an old creative project. Maybe you were writing a song, you're going to pick it up again. Maybe you were learning interpretive dance, you're going to pick it up again. You might want to go backwards to something you used to do. And dare I say, Leo, I think it might be for the sake of healing from a psychological standpoint. Art therapy, music therapy, dance therapy, using something to move tough emotions and energy. Move the harder emotions, help process your emotions. So if you used to be a dancer, this might be a time when you decide, I want to go back to dancing, or you want to go back to horse riding, or something that's going to help you heal as a form of therapy through art, through creativity, is something that I see being indicated for you, Leo. Now, in the 12th of December, there is a new moon in your 5th house. So for some of you, this could be perhaps a new romance in your life. It is going to be conjunct Mars. Mars is the ruler of your 9th house. So this could be someone that perhaps comes from a different country, someone who you meet through your education at uni, at university, at college, someone you travel to see, or someone who is maybe quite religious or spiritual with the 9th house, or quite opinionated. But it feels as though if you're starting a new relationship or new romance, that might be the type of person that it is. It is going to be also possible for you to begin a new creative pursuit around this time, Leo, as well. Or it might be a time when you're going to perhaps find out that you are expecting a baby, or you're giving birth because it's a new moon, it's a new beginning in your 5th house of children. Or there may be perhaps a new beginning for a child in your life. So that could be coming up for you as well, Leo. Venus is going to enter your 4th house on the 4th. And this is bringing a lot of love, a lot of blessings to your home, to your family life. Maybe for some of you, you're spending more time with your family. You're traveling home to see your family for the holiday season. And this gives it gives a bit more sense that this is going to be a pleasant thing, especially for females with your family. You might decide that you're going to go shopping with your family and have a nice time. You might decide that you're going to do something creative with your family, or work on communicating better with your family, or your roommates, even if you have roommates, Leo. Now, Venus does oppose Jupiter in your 10th house on the 9th. So perhaps you are taking your family or a family member to a work event, or you have an opportunity to do something quite fun linked to your career, linked to your job. You might find that you're going out for a work party or a work event, and you're actually finding it very extravagant, very fun, very joyful, Leo. But you might also find that if you're having a house party around this time, it might actually be more up your alley. Like if you have a home party with the moon and Venus being in Scorpio, you might have some champagne at your house if you drink, or you might have some canapes, or do something luxurious at home. Potentially have like a home party, a family party that's going to be very extravagant, and there'd be a lot of indulgence for you, Leo, whatever that means for you. It doesn't mean that you have to spend a lot of money. Jupiter in Taurus, Venus in Scorpio means that you can definitely spend more than you mean to. But it can be finding little luxuries as well. It doesn't have to be flashing your cash, although for a lot of people they're definitely going to overdo that around this time. That's for sure. But other things going on for you, Venus in your 4th house opposing Uranus in your 10th. One of the ways that this is looking is that perhaps you may find that a family member is a bit jealous of your career success, or a goal that you've achieved, or some recognition that you're getting. Maybe, for example, with Uranus in there, you're doing something that's a little bit different, a little bit off the wall, or quite imaginative, or quite innovative, quite genius even, in terms of your career, your profession, or maybe it's just a bit more bohemian. Somebody in your family may be a little bit jealous or a little bit envious, and this could cause a bit of friction and drama. Just be mindful of that. They might not even necessarily, it might not be obvious, it might be quite covert, but if you do feel as though someone is saying something a bit hurtful or underhanded around this time in your family about your career or your choices for your lifestyle, you might actually find that they're a bit jealous of your freedom, or a bit jealous of your genius. Could be another way that this is coming up, Leo. So just be mindful of that. Someone might say something a bit sharp. There can also be a bit of an unexpected event going on at work that perhaps takes you away or delays you getting to a family event or a home situation as well, Leo. On the 22nd, the Sun is conjunct Mercury in your 6th house. There may be, with the Mercury retrograde, a bit of back and forth for you, Leo, when it comes to work matters, your day-to-day work, your routines. There might need to be a bit of reevaluation. There could be a bit of back and forth communication that isn't entirely clear this month, but you might get a bit of clarity on what's going on around the 22nd when it comes to your work, Leo. Now, there's a full moon in your 12th house on the 26th or the 27th, depending on where in the world you are. But the full moon in the 12th house can feel very sleepy. It can feel very quiet. This can be a time when you're maybe feeling a little bit reclusive, or you just want to stay in. You don't necessarily want to go to a party. You might be feeling a little bit like you just want to spend time maybe with your nearest and dearest. You might just want to hole up at home and heal. Whatever that looks like for you, you might need a bit more sleep, Leo. There is a sextile to Jupiter in your 10th house though. So it's possible that you may want to spend a bit of time healing or resting, maybe because things have been quite busy or quite hectic at work, and perhaps you feel a little bit like you have some good news coming up in your career, or you have some great ideas and you need to rest up before you can actually put them into practice. For you, I do also feel that around this time, Leo, that perhaps with Mercury and Mars meeting in your 5th house and squaring Neptune in your 8th, if you have kids, they could be acting up a bit, or there could be a bit of fighting or a bit of anger with your children, and this may actually be something that you could dig a little bit deeper with because of the square to Neptune. You might not be incredibly clear about why they're behaving the way that they are, but there could be something that is worth investigating with Neptune being in the 8th and now being direct. Maybe perhaps they're acting in a way that is very out of character, very unusual, but there might be a deeper message in it if you listen to your intuition about why it may be. It could be something they're eating, it could be something they're ingesting, it could be something that they are feeling as well. With Neptune being in the 8th house, there could be hidden feelings there that are maybe erupting. So maybe ask some questions if you do have some troubling, if children are a bit angry or are acting a bit oddly around this time. People could be in general acting a bit odd around this time, I have to say, Leo. For you, you may be feeling very inspired creatively. You may really want to pursue something creatively, but for some reason, you just feel a bit of an energetic block. If you do, It's likely psychological. Neptune in the 8th. Use your intuition to feel around, do some journaling, breath work, whatever it is. Take a bath. You might get an intuitive hit on why you feel a bit blocked creatively, especially if you're taking up something new and you're feeling really inspired to do it, or you're taking up something you used to do and you used to be really good at. You might actually realize that now, after the years, there's a little bit of psychological unraveling to do, and this is why it's going to help you heal. This is going to be part of the healing process for you, Leo, as well. Jupiter direct on the 30th. From the 30th of December right up until May 2024, there's more opportunity coming for you to expand in your career. Pay attention to the 28th of October, what was going on for you in terms of your career and your professional life, because you may be finding that this is going to be part of what's happening around the 30th. Like, it's the next development, it's the next step, it's the next growth. Jupiter was retrograde at the time of that eclipse, so you may have been reflecting on how you want to grow your career and your professional life, and now you can. Now you're going to see the growth, now you're going to see the materialization, Leo. That's what I have for you. Hope you have a good one. Talk to you soon. Hi Virgo, welcome to December 2023. So Virgo, the main thing that's happening for you this month is the fact that your ruler Mercury is going to be either in shadow or retrograding this month. And Mercury enters your 5th house in the 1st, will go retrograde in the 13th, and then will retrograde back into your 4th house on the 23rd, and then will go direct on New Year's Day. So your ruler is effectively slowing down and reversing this month. And so you may find that as we wrap up the year in general, you're quite reflective. You're starting to rethink how you feel about the things that bring you joy, what brings you happiness, and also your home and living situation. So when Mercury enters your 5th house in the 1st, right up until the 13th, Mercury is going to be direct, albeit in shadow. So you're maybe starting to think, okay, I'd like to try this. I'd like to do this. This might make me happy. Maybe this would make me happy. Maybe I should try this. Would I like this? You might be writing a lot. Having a Mercury retrograde in your 5th house is a nice time to bring up past writing habits, penmanship, even drawing, artistic endeavors, painting, things that you used to do that used to bring you joy, or old projects you were working on that you maybe didn't get around to finishing, because with Mercury in shadow and then going retrograde right up until the 23rd, it might be a good time to revisit certain things that used to make you happy, that maybe you've lost touch with, that maybe you've forgotten about, that maybe you just have not had the time to do. That's what Mercury retrograde in the 5th tends to bring. Now from the 23rd, when Mercury retrogrades back into your 4th house, it is then going to bring about the square to Neptune, which I believe is on the 27th. Let me just double check. Yes, the square to Neptune on the 27th. That's going to echo conversations that were going on for you surrounding your home life on the 25th of November. 25th, 26th, 27th of November, more so 26th, 27th. Mercury went into shadow on the 25th. But this is going to reflect what was going on for you in terms of conversations surrounding your living situation. Maybe your living situation with a partner, because it's squaring Neptune in your 7th house. Maybe home and family matters with a partner are going to be a bit of a source of confusion, and there is going to be a need for reflection, particularly how you communicate with a partner surrounding home matters, your living situation, or even family, or your partner's family. How these matters are lining up for you. They're key themes of reevaluation, Virgo. And there can be a bit of confusion going on between you and a partner about your living situation, your home life, property, family, that needs to be reconsidered. Now on the 22nd, there's just some Mercury cazimi in your 5th house, and it's at 0 degrees. So I think for you, Virgo, this is looking like a bit of clarity surrounding a creative matter, what would make you happy, what would bring you joy on the 22nd. So consider that around this time, because Mercury as well, when it's in Capricorn, is going to trine Jupiter in Taurus, which for you is your 9th house of higher ideals, spiritual connection, religious perspectives, higher perspectives, maybe higher study. Maybe some of you are realizing that what would make you happy is going back and studying something new, or studying something you initially did study that you haven't done in a while, or you wanted to. With Jupiter going through your 9th house, and particularly with Jupiter going direct on the 30th, triggering the eclipse from October, there seems to be a sense for you going forward, Virgo, of maybe further studying something that's going to bring you joy, studying something that's going to help you expand, something that's going to help you perhaps with maybe even meeting a partner or moving home. It's like studying something could lead to those events, traveling could lead to those events. So maybe you're reconsidering where you would like to go to, what you would like to study, and you're viewing these through the lens of what would make you happy, Virgo. You know, because Mercury is your ruler in the 5th. What's going to make you happy? What's going to make you feel good? What's going to feel creative? What's going to feel abundant? What's going to feel like life is worth living, basically? You know, the 5th house is where we find our joy and our pleasure and our fun, and your ruler going through it is saying, what's going to make you happy? What's going to make you feel good in the long run? I do get the sense that for a lot of you, this may be studying something. This may be going back to school, going back to college, university. And if you were thinking about that around October, the 30th may be a time where you decide that a certain course, a certain education system, or perhaps traveling is going to bring you more abundance, Virgo. There's a new moon actually happening on the 12th in your family and home sector. So for some of you, there could actually be a new beginning happening there, perhaps a new chapter in your family life. There is going to be a conjunction to Mars, and Mars rules your 8th, which is where we would consider mortgages and loans. So some of you may be buying a home, some of you may be buying a property, or you may even be renting a new property. There could be a move in play for a lot of Virgos around the 12th. Or a new beginning in your home and family life. Perhaps you are actually going to redecorate, rearrange, or it's a new chapter in your family relationships. Or family might actually be helping you out financially at this time, Virgo, as well. There's a square to Neptune, so if you have a relationship with a partner, you may not be they might not be 100% sure what this means for them. So say you're moving and you're dating somebody, say you're buying a house and you're dating someone and it's early doors, they're not 100% sure if they want you to move in with them, or if you're moving with a partner, you might not have discussed all the details. Or if you're moving somewhere new, you may be thinking, would there be room for somebody in this house if I were to meet someone? That kind of thing could be coming up for you, Virgo. But it does feel like there's a new beginning in your home and family sector. The conjunction to Mars could also mean that perhaps you're feeling a bit irritated with your family in some regard as well. And it could be your partner's family, and it could be a new chapter where you're going to have to assert yourself a little bit more and set some boundaries in play, particularly if it's your spouse's family, Virgo. We also have a full moon in Cancer happening on the 26th or the 27th, depending on where you are in the world. And for you, Virgo, Cancer is your 11th house of social events, networking, teams. So there might be something coming up with a group that you're a part of, significant news, or you might be going to a house party or a house networking event, Virgo. This could actually be, if you're socializing and you're single, you could absolutely meet a partner at this, because it is going to be trining Saturn in your 7th house. You could be having a social event linked to your partnership, maybe an engagement party, maybe you and your partner have just moved and you bought a house, and then you're going to be having a party yourself and lots of people are invited. It's sextiling Jupiter in your 9th house, so this might be bringing in family from abroad, family from overseas, or it could be that there is some sort of theme to the party that is maybe linked to another country. So say maybe you're having a party for somebody who's moving to Australia, you have a lot of inflatable kangaroos, I don't know, but there could be a theme going on that is linked to perhaps a different country if someone's moving, for example, the Virgo. One thing I want to mention is that around the 27th, 28th, there's a bit of harsh words. There are harsh words. There's harsh words. One thing I want to say, Virgo, is that around the 27th, 28th, there are harsh words, blunt, direct communication. It's actually a bit confusing surrounding your home and family life, and particularly potentially a partner. So if you're in a relationship, your partner, there may be a misunderstanding between your partner and your family, and there might be a bit of a heated exchange. You might get into a fight with your family about a partner or about an ex-partner, or about the lack of a partner, or there could be something comes up where your family say some words that feel very harsh, feel very blunt, feel very direct, but also harsh. Could actually be a misunderstanding or a miscommunication though, so just be mindful. People are acting a bit odd around the 27th, 28th, Virgo, I'm not going to lie to you. They're acting a bit weird. Venus enters your 4th house on the 29th. Family life gets better. Things start to feel a lot more blessed in your family and your home and your property sector. And then, as I say, Jupiter goes direct in your 9th house on the 30th, meaning that you're maybe feeling quite excited about maybe something legal, maybe something to do with your higher education, higher study, or travel, or making travel plans around the 30th, Virgo, or finding that you're going to do something that really expands your mindset, or you're expanding your mindset going into the new year. That's what I have for you. I hope you have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Libra, welcome to December. So Libra, let's talk about your ruler Venus. Venus is leaving your sign in the 4th, and it's entering your 2nd house of finances. So this could be a blessed month for you financially. Your finances could increase, you could have more opportunities to make money, to receive money. You might get some very nice gifts this month, I have to say. And there could be really good financial news for you around the 9th of December, because Venus is actually going to oppose Jupiter. And Jupiter tends to expand. Now Jupiter is coming in from your 8th house, so it might as well be that your partner's money is increasing, your partner's finances are increasing, you're getting some sort of loan, you're getting some sort of mortgage, some sort of grant, or you're perhaps in a financial relationship increasing your finances or getting some sort of financial bonus this month. And this might increase your spending. You might buy yourself something nice, something very lavish. You might be more interested around the 9th in particular in the finer things. And you yourself could be getting a significant gift. Now be mindful that especially around the 21st, you might have some unexpected envy or jealousy comes your way, maybe even from a partner, or in a financial relationship, a business partner or your spouse might do something a bit unpredictable financially for you, and you're thinking, what do you do? Why did you buy that? What did you buy that for? Why did you invest in that? You might be a little bit surprised, and this could cause some drama in a relationship. Mercury is going to retrograde in 2 signs this month. Mercury is going to retrograde in your 4th house. So Mercury goes retrograde in your 4th house on the 13th. There might be some matters with your family, a bit of back and forth, a bit of miscommunication, misunderstanding is possible with your family member regarding a property situation. If you're moving, regarding renovations in particular, you could find that maybe you don't have all the details. There's a bit of delay, communication goes awry. There's back and forth, there's delays with home, family matters, family events. Mercury does rule your 9th house, so if you're traveling for the holiday season, this might be a time where you miss an important detail or have some irritation when it comes to travel plans, especially if it involves family, Libra. You might want to revisit these, and it could also be that perhaps if you are buying a home, there could be a lot of communication going on this month and a need to revisit some plans of yours, as Jupiter in the 8th is trining Mercury, but this could go in your favor, because it is a harmonious aspect. So maybe something is going well, but there's still a bit of back and forth before it completely comes to fruition. Now Jupiter is going to go direct on the 30th, so the odds of you having your finances increased by a partner or a relationship or a joint financial venture or benefiting from other people's money is very likely up until May. It can see an increase in your partner's finances. It can see a significant loan, a significant grant, a significant payment from the government, an increase in your finances because of somebody else. It can also be an inheritance that you're receiving, or some sort of big financial bonus you're receiving through somebody else, not the money that you earn, but through someone else, Libra. And Jupiter does rule your 3rd house, so it could be that maybe unexpected and maybe not, so that maybe something in your community financially benefits you. Maybe you get money from a sibling, maybe you get money from a neighbor, maybe somebody that you didn't, someone that you know from childhood benefits you financially, or an extended family member. This is very much giving a long distance aunt that you didn't know you had leaving you something in their will, that kind of energy. Between now and May, getting money through somebody else or benefiting financially through somebody else, Libra. There's a new moon in your 3rd house in the 12th, so this could foretell a new beginning in your local community, being involved with your neighborhood. You might meet somebody if you're single in your local neighborhood, because it is conjunct Mars, and Mars rules your 7th house of relationships. You might also meet somebody online. You might strike up a conversation with someone and it actually starts to move as a relationship. But this could also be perhaps a new writing project or a new opportunity to communicate, to take a short distance trip as well, or to integrate with a smaller group of people, or to teach a smaller group of people, or to take a course. You might decide you really want to take a course or a class around this time, Libra. There's a Mercury Cazimi the Sun Mercury Cazimi on the 22nd in your fourth house. So you might be finding that there's important communication surrounding a home, property, or family matter, or clarity there if there has been a bit of back and forth. One of the big things happening for you in the 26th, 27th Libra is a full moon in your career sector, which could bring about an important event, news, or experience, peak experience when it comes to your career. This is a favorable full moon, so I feel like maybe you could be getting a promotion, maybe you could be going up in a position of power, you could be doing something in your career that's getting you a lot of spotlight. It's sextiling Jupiter in your 8th, so it feels as though it could benefit you financially too. And it's trine Saturn in Pisces, which for you is actually your 6th house of work. So it feels as though the hard work you've put in is going to pay off in a big way, Libra. One thing to mention is that there will be a Mercury conjunct Mars square Neptune event happening for you. And for you, this is happening it's quite obvious what seems to be happening here. You might be saying something very direct, very blunt, it doesn't go down well, particularly if that's with colleagues, or if that's with employees, or that's with someone that you work with, or you share services with, or you know in your day-to-day routine. You might say something that means well, you mean well, but it might not be taken so well. So be extra cautious around communication, Libra, on the 27th, 28th, especially if you're communicating with somebody that you work with. You might accidentally offend them when you didn't mean to, but there really could be a pretty big misunderstanding. And also just be careful from a health perspective. If you suddenly feel inspired to run when you haven't ran in about 10 years, if you suddenly feel inspired to hit the gym, just go a little bit easy, because you might not necessarily know your limits with the square to Neptune in your 6th. That's what I have for you, Libra. I hope you have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to December. So Scorpio, here's the good news. Venus is in your sign for most of the month. From the 4th until the 29th, Venus is in your sign, which is making you look good, feel good, smell good. It's giving you real charm and appeal, so you're likely going to be getting some superb kisses from Venus this month, where you're more likely to attract love, attract relationships, attract financial abundance. These things are likely to come to you. People might want to give you gifts for no reason, or you might just feel a little bit more alluring, a little bit more like yourself this month, which is good news. Now, one of the things that's happening for all of us this month in a big way is the Mercury retrograde, because it's going to go through 2 different houses in our chart. Mercury enters Capricorn, which is your 3rd house of communication, so the fact it's going retrograde there is a little bit of a doozy. You're going to have to reflect on why you communicate the way that you do. You're going to have to reconsider why you say certain things, or why you don't say certain things, or the way that you hear people in conversation as well, because listening is as big a part of communication. You may find during Mercury retrograde that you actually want to listen a little bit more, and it could be very insightful, especially for your relationships, because the reflection you're doing on communication, Scorpio, is going to benefit your partnerships and your relationships, because it makes trines to Jupiter in your relationship sector. So this can also mean that there's a bit of reflection and a little bit of perhaps nostalgia, or the past comes up when it comes to a sibling, when it comes to a cousin, an aunt, an uncle, different extended parts of your family. There might be this might be a time when you reconnect with a sibling you've not seen in a long time. So say you have a sibling that's been away, that's lived in Australia for 10 years, and they're finally back for the holidays. You might get to reconnect with them. It might also be that you get to reconnect with friends from school. It might be that you run into people that used to live in your neighborhood. And you might actually find that this goes a little bit better than expected because of Jupiter in your 7th house. This could be a time to grow this relationship that you reconnect with. This could be a time when you're also perhaps reflecting on a relationship with one of these people, a sibling, an aunt, a neighbor. You're feeling a bit nostalgic for a person from the past, if maybe they're no longer with you or you're no longer connected as well. There's a new moon in your financial sector in the 12th, which means there's a new beginning happening for you financially. It's conjunct your ruler Mars, so you're likely taking initiative on pursuing how you make money, pursuing a new way of making money, perhaps being a bit more adventurous, perhaps making your services a little more global, because this is Sagittarius, so maybe putting your sales online, your services online, and attracting clients in different countries. Mercury retrograde is going to go back into your 2nd house though on the 23rd, so you might You might have to do a little bit of reflection on this, a little bit of reconsideration on this, especially if you're doing something with your talents. It's going to square Neptune in your 5th house, so you might be doubting yourself, you might be doubting your talents, you might be doubting how you can make money with your talents. You might be having a little bit of a crisis of confidence in your creativity at times. But this is all part of the bigger picture, Scorpio, because this new beginning is something that you're going to be investing a lot of energy in for the next 6 months. So a little bit of reflection isn't so bad. Whenever there's a new moon conjunct Mars, as we experienced last month with your 1st house, sometimes we can burn out too quickly if we don't have moments of slowing down and reflecting. So just be mindful that the reflection you do on your finances as well could work out for you better in the long run if you're thinking about it, because your ruler Jupiter is going to go direct on the 30th, and you may have more opportunity. Your ruler Jupiter, the ruler of your 2nd house, apologies, Jupiter is going to go direct on the 30th. So you may have more abundance coming your way through your relationships too. But you could be doing a bit of reflecting financially. And I will say, be careful of impulsive spending with Mercury conjunct Mars, especially around the 27th, 28th. It's going to square Neptune in your 5th house. So be wary of impulsively spending on a child. Beware of impulsively spending on a new creative hobby that you may not keep up, you may not stick with. You don't want to invest too much money during the Mercury retrograde cycle anyway, because you might regret it later. So just be mindful of taking too much affirmative action with your spending, with your finances. Scorpio, around the 27th, 28th, that might be Boxing Day, St. Stephen's Day sales or whatever it is. You might regret it later with the square to Neptune in your 5th. It just might not actually be your style at all. Or spending something on a child, they might actually really not want it, or they might not be sticking with this particular hobby, so be mindful of that. Your finances do look a lot better from the 29th anyway, because Venus is going to enter your 2nd house and bring blessings to your finances. And with Jupiter that rules your 2nd house going direct on the 30th, I feel like there could be more money coming to you around those 2 days, more abundance coming into your life. And Jupiter direct on the 30th is also going to help your relationship sector. Between now and May 2024, you may find more opportunities to meet a partner, to meet a key relationship, to make a new best friend, to connect to people that help you grow, that you feel optimistic about, that you feel joyful about, that you learn from, to connect to teachers, to connect to mentors. And this could trigger something that was happening around the 28th. So if something happened with a key relationship around the 28th of October, this may be re-triggered around the 30th, but perhaps the reflection and the reconsideration you've done with Jupiter in retrograde is actually going to help this area grow, or whatever was going on around for you. It might actually go a bit better this time too. There's a full moon in your 9th house on the 26th, 27th, which is sextiling Jupiter in your 7th house. So you may be deciding to travel with a partner. A partner may get you a vacation as a Christmas present. You may be taking an adventure with a partner that feels really exciting to you. It's trining Saturn in your 5th, which means that you're feeling very committed to fun around this time. It might also be that you're getting some sort of diploma or something in your education, like a master's degree, a significant certificate, or perhaps you're having an epiphany when it comes to your religious and spiritual perspectives, especially with the sextile to Jupiter there, Scorpio. One other event that I have for you, Scorpio, is that Venus in your sign is going to trine Neptune in your 5th house on the 25th. It feels as though if you're attending a party, you may be the belle of the ball. You may be very entertaining, very creative. If you're at a family gathering, it feels like the children at the family gathering may be flocking to you quite a bit. So if you don't like kids, be careful of that. But it does feel as though if you're at an event, this might be particularly fun, particularly joyful, particularly mystical. It's kind of giving Great Gatsby energy. So you may even find that you're running into someone at that time who's quite romantic, quite poetic, quite mysterious, and maybe quite creative. But there could be a romance coming up for you around Christmas time, Scorpio, with Venus trining Neptune in your 5th house. There may be opportunities for romance, opportunities for dating around the Christmas and festive period for you as well, Scorpio. But that's what I have for you. I hope you have a beautiful December, and I will talk to you soon.